Administration. Previously, he obtained a Bachelor of Arts from the University of British Columbia in 2011. He joined the Department of Foreign Affairs and International Trade in 2013 as a co-op student in a trade policy division in Ottawa, following studying employment at the Canada Border Services Agency from 2019 to 2013. From 2014 to 2017, he was a trade commissioner at the Pacific Regional Office in Vancouver, during which time he completed a 2-month assignment to the Consulate General of Canada in Seattle, Washington, and obtained professional designation and a certified international trade professional. Prior to arriving in Monterrey as a consul in December 2020, he served as vice consul in Guadalajara from 2017 to 2020. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for being here. Now I'll turn things over to you.
Thank you very much, Barbara. It's great to be here. If we can share the presentation, that would be great. Great, thank you very much. So as Barbara mentioned, I'm very pleased to be here today. As she mentioned, I'm the Consul and Senior Trade Commissioner at the Consulate General of Canada in Monterrey. I'm proud to represent our Trade Commissioner Services team here in Monterrey. As the Consul General Sandra Shattuck previously mentioned. And also, I'm happy to provide a brief overview of both our services and some of the reasons why to invest in Canada. So, Global Affairs Canada, our mandate in terms of trade and investment is to assist Canadian exporters through doing business internationally, but also to attract foreign companies to invest in Canada. So we do this through the Trade Commissioner Service and our presence in over 160 cities. In Monterrey, we seek to work with local companies here in Northeast Mexico to connect with our network of Canadian suppliers of products, technologies, and services. And we help you to connect with organizations in Canada to promote innovation and research and development projects for your companies, and also support those of you who are interested in considering investment projects in Canada. So I'd like to go over a little bit about the work of Invest in Canada and what we do to support you in considering Canada as an investment destination for your businesses. We work with partners in Canada and Mexico, including the Invest in Canada team at Global Affairs Canada, which is our global investment attraction and promotion agency. And it's a key contact for any investor looking to Canada as they provide customized services to help unlock different investment opportunities in Canada. This includes providing you introductions to key industry, community, and government partners. Overall, Canada has a very strong and stable business climate that is open for business and investment and in trade. And throughout this presentation, if I leave you with anything, I want you to remember that Canada is a top-class investment location for you, given its welcome business environment, world-class clusters of innovation, highly educated workforce, low business tax rates, and financial stability. So this slide here shows how the Invest in Canada team can support you and how we do that through our Trade Commissioner services here in Monterrey. So we can help with business case for your investment project. This is done in collaboration with our colleagues at headquarters and providing introductions to key contacts and helping you to take advantage of Canadian government incentives to invest in Canada. And this event today with Owit Monterrey is focused on the Toronto area. However, some of the important things to consider is that there is a vast country beyond Toronto that you can also consider. So one of the key partners that we work with, both from a provincial and territorial level, are at a municipal level as well. We work with the Consider Canada Cities Alliance. So depending on the focus of your business, looking beyond Toronto might be relevant for your business. So one of the groups that we work with, as I mentioned, is the Consider Canada City Alliance, which is a grouping of Canada's 12 largest cities: Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Hamilton, London, Waterloo, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Quebec, and Halifax. And together, these 12 cities represent roughly 58% of Canada's population, 60% of Canada's GDP, and 70% of Canada's GDP growth. This slide right here is an important one because I'd like to highlight how Canada is has a world-class clusters of innovation. We're home to some of the world's largest tech hubs, and we are focusing on growing and attracting innovative talent from across the globe. This example, one of those examples of one of the important initiatives that we work to explain from the Government of Canada is the Innovation Supercluster Initiative, which is from the Ministry of Innovation, Science, and Economic Development, which is one of those important initiatives for your business to consider if you are looking to invest in Canada, where the ministry is seeking to invest $950 million to support business-led innovation superclusters to pull across businesses, like-minded businesses in different clusters across the country, where the focus is on technology innovation. The focus of this Owit Monterrey mission to Toronto looks at the advanced manufacturing sector, for example. So one of those superclusters that the federal government has identified is in Ontario, the Advanced Manufacturing Supercluster, which is building up next generation manufacturing capabilities, such as advanced robotics and 3D printing. This funding for this specific cluster is up to $230 million provided from the federal government. And this can be helpful for you identifying where you might be looking to establish yourself based on the business of your company, and especially when looking at how big a country Canada can be, it can be overwhelming. So one of the benefits is this climate of innovation superclusters can seek to help you identify the areas which might be the most appropriate for your business. If we move to the next slide, you can see that this is a good visual representation of Canada, and also shows how Canada has excellent global market access for our businesses based in Canada. We have 14 free trade agreements, which gives preferred access to 51 foreign countries, which is very attractive for companies which are established in Canada. On the next slide, we can see how with the Canada-US-Mexico agreement now in force, Canadian-based businesses have virtually tariff-free market access to over 494 million consumers and a combined GDP of over 24 trillion US dollars. And as you can see from this map, Many Canadian production hubs are very close to the US market, with 16 of our 20 largest cities within an hour and a half drive of the US border. So this can be a very strategic location as well if you're seeking to do business in the United States. In particular, some of the popular markets in the north of the United States. With Canada being so close, that can also be a great launching off point for you into that market. With the next slide, you can see that Canada has a very, we have a very highly educated workforce. First, Canada is one of the most educated among OECD nations, with over half of Canadians aged 25 to 64 having attained post-secondary education in high-quality universities from across the country, including top-ranking ones such as the University of Toronto, McGill University, and the University of British Columbia. Consequently, Canada is a very, very attractive market for international students. So we also have the conditions to try to encourage the Canadian marketplace for international students to stay and continue working in Canada. Currently, the top 5 source countries of international students in Canada are from China, India, France, US, and South Korea. And one of the benefits for a company seeking to do business in Canada is that we have a favorable immigration process for Canadian companies who are looking to hire highly skilled employees that can either be pulled from the domestic pool, international students with work permits in Canada, or if they seek to sponsor those workers to come into Canada. This slide here is another important one because it shows the low business tax rates that we have in Canada. And Canada has the lowest marginal effective tax rate for new business investments in the G7. And this can be very advantageous, especially in terms of capital purchases for those companies who are seeking investments in manufacturing and processing. We have significantly lower marginal tax rates for those manufacturing and processing capital expenses, which can be very attractive in comparison to other potential investment locations. So looking at the next slide, overall, Canada's quality of life is one of the world's best. As a Canadian, I love my country. It's a wonderful place to live, to grow up, to have a family, and to do business. It's one of the best countries in the G20 for doing business, and especially because of its political stability and openness to trade. Especially amongst the COVID-19 pandemic, Canada continues to be open to trade, and one of the factors, this is one of the factors that is taken into account in recent studies. Canada is definitely one of the top in the world for the business climate for entrepreneurs. And according to the Global Entrepreneurship Index, which is a measure of the health of a country's entrepreneurship ecosystem, Canada ranks highly in the G20 and also highly internationally as well. So some of the next slides, if we move on, you can see that in terms of peace, democracy, and overall global reputation, Canada fares very well on a global scale and is very an attractive location for you to consider if you want to do business outside of Mexico. So on the next slide as well, you can see that in terms of security, justice, and equal opportunity, we rank very high, number 1 in fact, on the top in the top 5 G20 20 countries for those rankings. Moving to the next slide, we can see here are some of the federal programs that might be relevant for companies in Mexico that are seeking to physically establish themselves in Canada. Specifically in terms of the support, if we just go back to the previous slide, the one for just with the programs. Here, Canada has various programs of support for innovation for companies seeking to do innovation. We have many areas within Canada that have a specific focus on innovation. And Canada promotes one of the richest innovation support programs in the world through its scientific research and experimental program, development initiatives, and industrial research assistance program. In terms of the Strategic Innovation Fund, it was a fund that was launched in 2017, which is a funding program aimed to support global competitiveness, and it seeks to assist manufacturers with new technology in supporting very large projects of over 10 million in size. And finally, one of the other incentives that the Government of Canada provides are progressive tax incentives. In particular, those tax incentives that allow capital equipment costs to be taken into consider in tax income. So that's one of the other important programs that is available from the Government of Canada. So moving on to the next slide, you can see these are some of the large Mexico and Monterrey specific based companies that have investments in Canada, or that have had investments in Canada. And overall, as I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, there are many reasons to invest in Canada, especially the business environment, the high quality and highly educated workforce we have, the international market access, which comes from Canada, the competitive business environment, the locations that can be very promising for your innovative projects and investment plans. And overall, it's a great place to live. And when you're considering doing business in Canada, you can count upon the support of the Consulate General of Canada in Monterrey, specifically the Trade Commissioner Service here. If you're looking to physically establish yourself in Canada, we're happy to work with you and your existing plan to make that physical plan a reality. If you're looking to export from Mexico to Canada, we're also happy to introduce you to local partners, including the Mexican Embassy in Ottawa as well, who equally would be able to support you, or the Mexican Consulate in Toronto as well. So overall, I just wanted to highlight the high quality of potential for your future investments in Canada as a destination to consider. And if you have any questions, you can be in touch with us at the Consulate General of Canada. And we're also happy to work with you to seek Canadian suppliers if that would be of interest to your businesses. So the last slide has my contact information. And that's it for my presentation, but I'd be happy to work with or answer any questions that you might have.
Yes, thank you so much, Jonathan, for your presentation. It was very, very informative. Thank you. And I do have some questions from the audience. Let me just read to you the first one. It says, what about an SME who is outside Canada and want to do business in Canada? What can we do?
So essentially, as I mentioned, the mandate of Global Affairs Canada and our support is primarily to support Canadian SMEs in their export plans abroad. Also to support investment into Canada. So if you are an SME globally, including from Mexico or another country, and if you're seeking to invest in Canada in terms of physically establishing yourself in Canada with employment created for Canadians, that's a real benefit, because through that, we can provide you support by giving introductions to the contacts that you need to know to make that happen, and giving, in a sense, the information up front that you can choose where to establish yourself. That does require that you have a plan for investment into Canada. If you're seeking to do business more generally in the sense of exporting from Mexico to Canada, we would be happy to put you in touch with, if it's a company from Mexico, then the Mexican federal government at the Embassy of Mexico in Ottawa, or the consulate in Toronto, or possibly with the local state government as well, and their export promotion efforts. But we're happy to speak with you to know what your goals are and make sure you get to the right contact.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I have a second question here. When will Canada open the borders to do business? I think due to the pandemic, I believe so.
Well, in terms of trade and investment, the Canada is still open to doing business, and that business we have seen has really continued flowing across the border throughout the pandemic. Currently, for the pandemic COVID-19 measures, we do have the border closed to non-essential travel, but trade and investment is continuing.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I have a last one here. It says, can you tell us a little more about the security measures that Canada has regarding to the pandemic?
Okay, well, first I would preface by saying I'm not, that's not my area of expertise, so that's not an area that I have much information to respond on. But in general, Canada has really taken a focus of ensuring that the citizens in Canada are protected from the pandemic, and that's why we've seen some of the measures in place, specifically restricting non-essential travel and various levels of lockdown that have taken place across the country, with the focus specifically on keeping Canadians safe.
Okay. Thank you, Jonathan. And I think I have one last one from the attendees. What about from Gambia to Canada? I believe someone from Gambia.
I think I already answered that in relation to my previous comments. So if someone is looking to do business from Gambia to Canada, it would be worthwhile for them to be in contact with their local government to see the support programs that are provided from their local government to export to Canada. Okay.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, for your presentation. Now on the screen, we are going to present your diploma as a recognition for attending our event, which we also will